morning, or depending when you're watching this, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. My name's Ross, and as always told out of Voice of Radio. So today, we need to look at a question which is very, very near and dear to our heart. Well, my heart at least. Are we getting a Mamoswine V? And you know what? The answer's probably no. But man, I want it to be true. Now, I did actually get this question a lot a couple of weeks ago. The new TCG set for outside of Japan, Chilling Reign, was officially, well, kind of revealed. They at least let the logo out there. And people saw Chilling Reign and they went, well, hang on a second, Wassy. That sounds an awful lot like we might be getting a Mamoswine. And I'm going to be honest with you, I'm not entirely sure where that came from. And I'm sorry about that. You see, Chilling Reign is referring very, very much to Ice Rider and Shally Rider Calyrex. If we look at the artwork for the equivalent sets over in Japan, on the booster packs, you can see Ice Rider and Shadow Rider Calyrex. You've got Chilling, which is clearly referring to Ice Rider. Rain, which is kind of a little bit evil and ghostly and all of that, which is referring to your Ghost Rider. And then you've got the ice and you've got the spooky clouds, and it really is just an amalgamation of those two Pokemon. That entire name and logo comes pretty much from just those two Pokemon. Even down to, Rain is clearly a reference to the Rains of Unity, which of course are the item in the Crown Tundra that you need to get in order to get Ice Rider and Shally Rider Calyrex. So I really do think that there's no huge argument here to be made for a Mamoswine V. And I don't like saying that. That makes me really sad. I got a bunch of people when that was revealed. Like I say, a bunch of people got in touch with me and went, Wassy, Mamoswine V. And I want there to be a Mamoswine V. I desperately want there to be a Mamoswine V. But unfortunately, I rather suspect it's not going to be coming. Prove me wrong, Pokemon. Prove me wrong. And to be fair, we are overdue for a Mamoswine at this stage. The last Mamoswine we actually got was in Crimson Invasion. Crimson Invasion was released in English on the 3rd of November 2017. So we're rocking like 4 years between Mamoswine at this stage. And the gap between Mamoswine have been getting longer and longer and longer, and that makes me sad. But come on, at some point there's got to be a new Mamoswine, surely. There's got to be. Mamoswine has not been legal for a couple of formats now. You know, we're currently playing Team Up on no legal Mamoswine. Before that, we were playing Ultra Prism on, and there was no legal Mamoswine. We've had 2 formats in a row where even if I wanted to play Mamoswine, and there haven't been any particularly good ones to play, unfortunately, I still wouldn't have been able to. That's very sad. However, there is, and I'm not saying we're not getting one in Chilling Reign, incidentally. I desperately want to get one in Chilling Reign. One of the big issues, and this is a big issue, follow this through with me. It's a bit weird, but it totally makes sense. If we look at the way the game is going at the moment, we've got Single Strike and Rapid Strike Pokemon. And if we look at Single Strike and Rapid Strike Urshifu, we've clearly got Darkness and Fighting, and Water and Fighting. So if you take a look at Rapid Strike Energy, you'll see that it provides Water Energy, and Single Strike Energy provides Darkness type energy. So if Mamoswine was coming along, you would expect that it would be coming along as a Rapid Strike Pokemon, because of the whole part Water typing. But clearly, when you're looking at fast Pokemon, or one big hit Pokemon, Mamoswine clearly fits better as a single strike Pokemon. Now, don't get me wrong, Mamoswine in the game is ground ice, so it can come through as fighting or water in the TCG. So they could make a fighting type single strike Mamoswine. That would work. But it would seem a little bit weird, because that's not the way that Rapid Strike and Single Strike Pokemon seem to be going. The Water types are over in Rapid Strike, but Mamoswine does not fit in Rapid Strike, and I'm hopefully showing you the problem here. But there is a little bit of hope. And the little bit of hope comes in the shape of the Diamond and Pearl remakes. You see, ladies and gentlemen, we know that Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl are coming. We know that for a fact. We know they're coming in November. We know that the Gen 4 remakes are very much confirmed. And this is a very, very, very good thing indeed. And I think that gives us our best hope of actually having Mamoswine V. I could be wrong. Might not happen. But I think if we really want a Mamoswine V, this is where we're going here. Now, I showed you a video the other day about this and our likelihood of getting sets. And I told you about things like Heart Gold, Soul Silver, which actually did get a proper job set, as in like a block. There was an actual Heart Gold, Soul Silver block. There were 4 whole sets based around the Heart Gold, Soul Silver games. It was frankly awesome. And it's not been that explicit since. But we did, of course, get Fire Red and Leaf Green. That was one set in the EX era. But we did get a proper Fire Red, Leaf Green set. And then when it came to Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, we got stuff like Primal Clash, which I'll be honest with you, isn't the same. It wasn't explicitly in there like all the others were. But we've gotten sets, is my point. We've gotten sets based around all of the remakes that we've seen so far. That's always happened. So you know what? Maybe, and by maybe I think it's incredibly likely, that we actually will be getting a set or a couple of sets based around Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl. And assuming they're still part of the Sword and Shield block, so to speak, which is likely, Primal Clash was part of the X and Y block, and Fire Red and Leaf Green was part of the EX Ruby and Sapphire block, so that does make perfect sense. Maybe we get a Mamoswine V in that regard, and I do think this is our best hope. I think if we're going to be trying to get actual Mamoswine V, I think VMAX is asking a bit too much. I mean, I would be delighted, I would make that work, but I think it's not on the cards as much as it could be. But I think if it's going to happen, it's going to have to be there. Here's the thing, though, and then this is what makes me sad. This is what makes me think it's not going to happen. If we look back at the history of the Pokemon trading card game and we look back at all of the Mamoswine, there have been 7 English-language Mamoswine, plus the Japanese promo. We'll get to that in a moment. We've not had any chase cards for Mamoswine. Mamoswine doesn't get chase cards. Mamoswine came out in a Diamond and Pearl era, at which point we had Level X. There was no Mamoswine Level X. Never happened. Wasn't a thing. We move forward a little bit more, and we end up in the Gen 5/6 era, and we get EXs. And Mamoswine never gets an EX. Just never happens. It's not happening. Excadrill got an EX. I mean, to be fair, it was one of the few exclusive ones in Legendary Treasures, and it was terrible, but that's not the point. Excadrill got an EX. Mamoswine never got one. Then we move forward into the realms of GXs. Mamoswine never got a GX. And as it stands, Mamoswine hasn't got a V, but that's kind of the whole point of this video. And where I'm going with this is extremely simple. Pokemon don't give Mamoswine the chase cards. There are certain Pokemon, like Charizard, like Gengar, like Gardevoir, that pretty much always get the chase cards. It's just a thing. It's the way it works. That is not the case for Mamoswine. And that's why I think we're probably out of luck here. And I would dearly like to be wrong, but, you know, the only promo Mamoswine we've ever had was the Japanese exclusive that never even got translated and released over here. Now, what is very weird is we did actually, in Triumphant, we got a Mamoswine theme deck. We got Verdant Forest, an actual factual Mamoswine theme deck, which I am absolutely over the top in love with. Bought that at the time. It's got an exclusive Shattered Hollow Foil. I love it. But that was the best we ever got in terms of Mamoswine love. So I don't think it's going to happen. If it did happen, what would it look like? Well, on the screen in this video, you have seen some mock-ups, both fighting and water type. I need to give a massive shout out to Talonite X here. You know, we have in the past used Talonite X for Japanese deck lists. Well, Talonite X is also awesome at making custom cards, has a YouTube channel, does videos about custom cards that they make. And they're really, really interesting. They're really, really fun. Go check them out. There'll be a link in the description. Shout out to Talonite X. I put a call out over on Twitter yesterday thinking about making this video. And Talonite X, not only did they make me a Mamoswine V, but they actually made both a fighting and a water type so I could have both to use in the video. That is above and beyond. That is awesome. Show them some love. Check out their channel. Subscribe maybe, you know. Throw some love that way. But what would Mamoswine look like? Well, I think there are certain things we could say. It would probably have very high HP. It would probably have high retreat. It would probably have powerful attacks. And it would probably have expensive attacks, because that's what we've seen so far. Remember, the closest we ever got to a playable Mamoswine was Mamoswine GL that was used in hit and run decks because it put damage counters on between turns on your opponent's active. We've seen some really interesting Mamoswine in the past. The Mamoswine that came around in Stormfront was very cool. It did 60 damage plus 10 more for each swine up on your bench, 20 more for each Piloswine on your bench, and 40 more for each Mamoswine on your bench. That clearly had a lot of potential, but it never actually worked, unfortunately. So the likelihood is, even if we got a Mamoswine V, it wouldn't be particularly great. Having said that, if it was a water type, we would have Frostmoth to accelerate energy. And remember, it's a stage 2, but Pokemon V are all basic, so you'd be a basic Pokemon. You'd have Frostmoth to accelerate energy if it was a water Pokemon. And as a fighting Pokemon, it wouldn't be so easy, but we would have B, one of my favorite gym leaders, my favorite Pokemon. It could work. If we got a Mamoswine V, no matter what type it was, we would have ways to accelerate energy. So it would likely be powerful but expensive, but we could pay it. I would play a lot of that Mamoswine. I would try desperately to make it work. If we got one, it would probably not be particularly great. But because it would be a basic and we've got ways to accelerate energy, this is about the best time ever for it. But even though we've got the Gen 4 remakes coming, I don't think a Mamoswine V is on the card. Pun. Prove me wrong, ladies and gentlemen. And by ladies and gentlemen, I mean Pokemon. Prove me wrong. But I want to hear from you guys, ladies and gentlemen. Let me know if you think we're getting a Mamoswine V. Let me know if you want a Mamoswine V. Go nuts in the comment section, but be nice. And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at The Wassy, and Twitch for some live action at twitch.tv/PTCG Radio. If you want to support the channel, get some bonus podcasts and all that good stuff, head on over to patreon.com/PTCG Radio, where you can do exactly that. But by far the most important thing is always, look after yourselves till next time, would ya? Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching PTCG Radio.